97 verb forms? What? Oh my. Have you ever heard about the 97 French verb forms? That essentially means that there are 97 different forms that the French verbs can be conjugated and expressed in. That in and of itself, I'm sure, can be overwhelming for just about any French learner. And so today, we're going to break that down in 6 essential parts for simplicity and ease of understanding. Stay tuned as we break that down one by one.
I think the message is really very simple. What we give out, we get.
Okay, so today we're going to begin with tenses. French has several different tenses to express ideas in different points in time. And we're going to be breaking down the tenses in 3 different aspects. And that's basically going to be simple tense, compound tense, and conditional tense. Starting with the simple tense. In the simple tense, we have the present tense, we have the imperfect tense, we have the past tense, and of course, we have the future tense. As it relates to compound tense, we have the past, present, and future perfect, and we have the past anterior. And now we move on to the conditional tense. The conditional is a little simpler because we simply have the past conditional and the present conditional. And now we're going to move into the moods, which basically express what we mean and how the things are said, the mood in which these things are said, to basically simplify it. We've got 4 moods that we're going to be looking at today. We've got the indicative mood, we've got the subjunctive mood, we've got the conditional mood, and we have the imperative mood. The imperative mood means that this is an order, this must be done. So we use the imperative mood to give commands. It is imperative that you do this or that. We use the conditional for expressing an hypothetical situation. We use the subjunctive to express a doubt, an opinion, or to communicate a necessity. It is necessary that. And of course, finally, the indicative is used to represent a fact. Okay, and so you'll see slowly but surely how the different tenses come together with the different moods to express certain things. Do you want to express something in the present, or do you want to express something in the past that happened in the past, or do you want to express something that will be happening in the future? Okay, and of course, is this a fact? Is this an hypothetical situation? Is this an opinion? Is there some doubt with this? Or is this something that you're suggesting that someone should do? It's necessary that you get this done. Or is this an order? Is this an order? That's an order. So you see how the tenses and the moods are coming together here. And that will basically help you to understand how different things are expressed when you are listening, and or how you can express them when you're speaking. So far, we've just simply covered the tenses and the mood, and now we're going to be moving on to the person, okay? First, second, or third person. This is probably considered conjugation 101 because the verbs, the form of verb change with the person that you are speaking of. We're going to be talking about je, tu, il, elle, on, nous, vous, il, elle. So as you know that je, tu, il, elle, je, tu, il, elle, on are first, second, and third person singular. But as we go to nous, vous, il, elle, we move to first, second, and third person plural. Okay? We're stacking on. We started with the tenses, we went on to the moods, and then we're going to the person. Is it first person, second person, or third person? Is it singular, plural? Is it singular or is it plural? Okay, and basically these are just establishing the fundamentals. So within the framework of these fundamentals, this is where the 97 verb forms come out. Okay, but we're just simplifying it here today with these 6 points that will help you to understand much clearer and establish that foundation for your conjugation / French grammar as you carry on your French language learning journey. Of course, it would not be French if you didn't have irregular situation and or exceptions. And so now we take a look at the irregular verbs. Okay, there are irregular verbs that are going to come at you, and these are going to be handled a little differently. They get a little bit more complicated. We won't necessarily get into the details here, but it's just an appreciation to understand that these are handled differently. Irregular verbs, and there are a number of them, and they don't necessarily follow the exact same pattern as you would with other verbs with standard stem and endings that get conjugated as you go down the je, tu, il, elle, on, nous, vous, il, elle. These get handled a little differently, and some of the time you simply have to study these to understand how you're going to represent those. You'll also find that as you read more and listen more, you get to remember more of how these verbs are handled. But the fundamental here that we're looking at today is to understand and appreciate the difference between the regular verbs and of course irregular verbs, and that they're handled differently. It must also be noted that être and avoir are also considered auxiliary verbs, and these are used in conjunction with other verbs to form compound tenses. Okay, and of course that you will be able to look into a little deeper. We won't go into the details of that today, but again, we're just going on a broad scope here. Point 6, perhaps this should have been point 1. This is where we look at the verb endings and how we put them in different groups. So most verbs in French have what we call stem and endings, and you will find that these verbs go in different groups. First group verbs, second group verbs, and third group verbs / irregular verbs based on their endings. Now understand that the stem of the verb, or the root of the verb, the stem of the verb, is what establishes the meaning of the verb, while the termination of the verb determines the person of the verb. Okay, is it I, you, they, we, us, etc., etc. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Basically, the 97 verb forms summarized in just about 6 points. For a quick resume, we have the tenses, ladies and gentlemen, and we do have 3 different type of tenses. We have the simple, the compound, and of course the conditional. And then we move to the mood. This is of course the mood in which the thing is said. We have the irregular verbs. Of course, we do have in French. It wouldn't be French if you didn't have the irregularities involved in there. We do have the person, first, second, or third person, and then we go singular or plural, and of course the different groups of verbs, i.e. first, second, and third verbs, and of course auxiliary fits in there someplace that helps the regular verbs to become compound tenses. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, merci d'avoir regardé cette vidéo et jusqu'à la prochaine fois, à bientôt.